Hello again, everybody. Tyler Smith here for Tyler's Movie Collection. And in keeping with the theme, and this will be the last episode for this, and then we're going to start off a new theme tomorrow. But we will be talking, the theme being movies that were nominated for and won Academy Awards. Um, so I want to talk about a movie that came out in 2000. It was directed by Ed Harris, the actor, and then he was nominated for Best Actor for the film Pollock, in which he played painter Jackson Pollock. The film also won Best Supporting Actress for Marcia Gay Harden for that classic Oscar-winning supporting role, which is the long-suffering wife of a brilliant person who is also deeply flawed in some way. So, yeah, what I think I don't like most biopics because, as I've said before, they either canonize their subject so much that they don't seem like a real person, or they go the other way with it and they try so much to humanize the person. They try to embrace this warts and all kind of thing to the extent that they don't focus on why this person is interesting and why we're watching a movie about this person. I remember there was a movie that came out a few years ago called Gainsbourg, and it was about Serge Gainsbourg, and I didn't know much about him. What music I had heard, I thought was very good, but the film focused so much on his womanizing and just all kinds of horrible things about him that after a while I didn't care about his music. And I feel like a biopic should not do that. It should try to embrace both halves of their subjects, and I think Pollock does that because while his story is a sad one and a tragic one, and often a very infuriating one, because he had, like so many other great artists, he had a drinking problem, and he could be very abusive and neglectful of the people that love him. But he also was clearly brilliant. And what I like is that certainly as the film goes on, his story gets sadder and sadder, and he becomes less and less. I mean, I think he remains relatable, but he becomes less and less sympathetic, and certainly less and less likable. But early on, the character, we see the kind of painter that he is, and then we see the painter that he's going to become. With the spattering and the dripping of paint on the canvas, and just discovering new ways to express himself on the canvas, and those moments are treated with the proper amount of emotional weight, I think, because it can be very difficult to show somebody creating something. It can be very difficult to show the spark of creativity, and the film does about as good a job as it can do, both through the use of music and through Ed Harris's performance, which I think is marvelous. Playing a guy who has certain insecurities, but is also kind of it seems wrong to say a slave, but he's definitely driven by his love of paint, but eventually and sadly, and I think this is one of the things that Ed Harris wanted to explore, is the tragedy of this guy who his passion for painting quickly turned into a passion for drinking, and I think a certain self-consciousness about where he fell in the art scene. And so all of that is going on, and I feel like my limited knowledge of Jackson Pollock as a painter was certainly supplemented by the film, so that I had a deeper understanding of who he was and the role that he played in the modern art world. And so Ed Harris, who has gone on to direct other things, including the underseen and underappreciated Appaloosa a few years later, I think he does a really great job with this. Clearly, he has passion for the subject, both as a director and as an actor, and I think that comes through. And anytime creative people make movies about other creative people, I think it's interesting to see that interpretation. So if you haven't seen Pollock, seek it out. Wonderful performances, and just a very interesting movie, albeit one that, yes, is kind of sad at the same time. But it is worth watching. I highly recommend it. It is streaming right now. Seek it out. Thanks.